I'm fascinated to see the government and so many like Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and more do this sort of deifying thing with Jacob Blake and it's not just politicians. It's the WNBA, which is a basketball league played by women.
What? There is one?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I didn't know.
That start?
I didn't know either, but until I saw this picture of them in their T-shirts.
Okay.
And they're T-shirts that spell out Jacob Blake.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Isn't that beautiful?
Drew Brees, New Orleans Saints, putting it on a masking tape on their helmet.
Yeah, that's so wonderful. That's
Jacob
beautiful.
Blake. Great.
Beautiful.
$2.2 million in a GoFundMe coming his way.
Oh,
so
my
far.
gosh.
$2.2 million for Jacob Blake. That's great. And I'm so glad people are doing that for him.
And then wait till he sues the city of Kenosha and the state of Wisconsin and the police association. And
he'll do all those things.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen all these comments from Biden and Kamala and so many more. But to understand what happened on August 23rd, which was the date of the shooting, you have to go back to May 3rd. So May 3rd is there's an incident. It's a little icky. He was charged with third-degree sexual assault, among other things. And there's some rumors going around the internet that he had that was about sex with a minor, and so that's not true. Someone has like taken a different state's third-degree sexual assault law and put it into posts online, which again is bizarre because this is bad
I've heard
enough.
that too, but not true.
No, not true. Here's what the Wisconsin. There's two things that need to be true to get third-degree sexual assault in Wisconsin. Number one, the defendant had sexual intercourse with the victim.
Okay.
Number two, the victim did not consent to the sexual intercourse. Now, to me, that's just straight out rape, right? Like that.
Yeah.
That's you could call it third degree sexual assault if you want, but the definition of rape, I could easily define it just like that. The defendant had sexual intercourse with the victim. The victim did not consent to the sexual intercourse. Kind of just seems like straight up rape. That's what I would call it.
Mm-hmm.
So we now know that the woman, the alleged victim, was the same woman who called police on the day Blake was shot. She called police on Blake because he showed up at her place when he wasn't supposed to. And the last time he was there, he was charged with third-degree sexual assault.
My understanding was not only did he show up when he wasn't supposed to, he showed up in the middle of the night, standing over her in her bed.
So this is the May 3rd incident. I'm talking about the shooting. So this is why she's calling police because this guy who showed up in the middle of the night last time he was there is a bit of a problem in her life. Okay, look, obviously we have the whole thing. This is an alleged situation at this time. We all get trials. We all are innocent until proven guilty. I will point out to the left, this includes the police officers too.
Mm-hmm.
I know this is going to be shocking, but I'm going to give that benefit of the doubt to both sides. But basically what happened was the victim here, the woman, went to a party in Milwaukee the previous night. So this is May 2nd. May 3rd, early in the morning, comes back at like 4 in the morning, arrives at home, comes in, and goes to bed in her bed. Jacob Blake breaks into her home, and she is startled awake when at 6 o'clock in the morning, she wakes up, and Jacob Blake is standing over her. Okay? Mm-hmm. Now, they had known each other for years, but it was well known that he was not welcome in her home. So think about, what kind of person you have to be to do this, right? Like you need to actually break into someone's home. You're intimidating this woman. You're standing over her. Now, she was not alone in bed. This is important to note. She was not alone in bed. She was sleeping next to one of her children. So she's alone. She's in her bed with one of her children. And then Blake assaults her in a way that I'm not going to describe here on radio, but it's not pretty. And there's a lot of really disgusting details that go along with it. We're going to spare you those, but the police report is available. The New York Post obtained it, among others, a couple of other media sources as well. But he sexually assaulted her. Now, after this ends, he leaves. The woman gets up, collects herself, runs out of the door to basically yell at him, whatever. She's very pissed off that this has occurred.
Mm-hmm. She
goes out to find that her car is missing. Comes back in, looks in her purse, realizes he's taken her keys. He's taken her ATM card. The car is gone. He goes in the car, makes 2 withdrawals from her bank account. unauthorized withdrawals from her bank account.
Jeez. So he stole her car and money.
Mm-hmm. Now, it's interesting what happens when she actually calls 911, because as you know, the police are a bunch of racist monsters. They're going to come here probably and execute every minority in the place, right? That's what I would assume is going to happen. She's been assaulted. He's stolen the car. He's done all these terrible things. Now he's decided she's called 911. The police come, and instead of violently attacking every minority in the complex, they're actually really protective of the victim, which is, I know, a shocking thing for police to do. They take a tearful statement from her where she said her assault, quote, caused her pain and humiliation, was done without her consent. She was, quote, very humiliated and upset by the sexual assault. They also noted that she had a very difficult time telling the officer about what had happened, and she cried as she told them how the defendant assaulted her. And so, people might say, and I understand it, okay, he's a bad guy. What about the incident itself, though, right? Like, you could say he's a bad guy, but what about the actual incident? And this is where I think people need to focus their attention. This is the incident. If you're going to pick an incident that involves Jacob Blake, this is the one to care about. This is it. You can put his name on your shirts if you want, but this is the incident. This is the one we should prioritize. Yes, a woman being raped next to her child in bed as she slept should take priority over an alleged rapist getting shot by police. Yes. Like, frankly, that is just true. And, I hear a lot of calls for justice for Jacob Blake. Where are the calls for justice for this woman who is sitting there?
Mm-hmm. Is LeBron James crying about her?
No, it doesn't seem to be.
It doesn't seem to be at all.
I haven't heard LeBron James say word one about this woman he raped. Where does she get her justice? Because no one seems to give a crap about that. Maybe he doesn't deserve to be shot 7 times, and we can talk about the circumstances there, which we've covered, and obviously there's a million reasons why that happened, and we can go into all the details on that. But again, this is it's not like he did something where there was the thing with Eric Garner. Remember Eric Garner? And they're like, he should have been, killed for selling loose cigarettes. It's not exactly, it's not true per se, but he didn't commit a major crime to lead to the incident as it happened. Mm-hmm. This guy did commit. He committed third-degree sexual assault. You heard the definition. It's rape. The victim, by the way, it was a victim of not only rape, but also her car being stolen, her bank account being stolen, several other things. This is also not a one-time incident. As the victim stated, he, quote, physically assaults her around twice a year when he drinks heavily. The guy basically has a recurring calendar event to come commit domestic abuse against this woman, and she's had to live with this entire time. And I don't know, what's the appropriate penalty for this? Repeated domestic assault, grand theft auto, stealing some money from a bank account, and rape. What are you going to get? Life in prison?
Might be appropriate,
that might be where I landed on it. Mm-hmm. The penalty for his sexual assault is 10 years in Wisconsin. Ask me if I think that's good enough. It's not. Okay? 10 years is a ridiculously small sentence for what this guy did, and that doesn't even include all of his other crimes, including, of course, fighting with officers, resisting arrest, and all the other things that he did. So should we care about the injustice of an innocent woman who is sexually assaulted in her bed as she slept next to her child? Or should we be talking about the supposed injustice of a frequent domestic abuser, thief, and rapist who was shot after resisting arrest, ignoring clear directions from officers while possessing a knife and walking through 2 tase attempts? Which one should we be talking about? Because that choice is easy to me. It doesn't seem to be easy to the media. Doesn't seem to be easy to the WNBA or LeBron James or Drew Brees.
And all these people who purport to care about women. Yeah. Right? These are supposedly the people who protect women.
This is the thing that hit me, I think, harder than
so ridiculous.
Going into this. I mean, how the hell in the freaking Me Too era, how the hell is this happening? Everyone in the public eye should stop and think about what they're doing here. Imagine how this victim feels. And you're
Pat. Burning down cities over this rapist.
Yeah. A rapist. And imagine the victim who sits there and watches WNBA players wear T-shirts to spell out the name of her rapist. Imagine watching Drew Brees, if you're this victim, and seeing on his helmet the name of your rapist.
It's despicable.
Imagine realizing that thousands of people across the country have united in effort to give your rapist $2 million. Imagine how that feels if you're the victim of his sexual assault and frequent domestic abuse. Imagine how that, if we can't recognize this as a society, that this is, we're doing this wrong. Police brutality is the least of our issues. I'm not saying there's never been a case of it, obviously, but the last thing in the world we need to worry about, if we are a society who can't recognize that the real crime here is this poor woman who was raped in a bed next to her child as her child slept, and we have celebrities plastering their uniforms with this guy's name. It's disgusting.
It is.
In every possible way.